Hello, and welcome to another episode of Talk About It. I'm Deon Atkins, coming to you from the Salisbury-Rowan Community Action Agency. And today we have with us Mr. Jolly Manning, former Harlem Globetrotter, educator, coach, mentor, and graduate of Salisbury's very own Catawba College. Welcome.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Manning, talk to the audience about the Salisbury Youth Basketball Camp.
Well, it was a dream I had when I graduated college, not only to be a professional basketball player, but to give back to the community in a certain way. So I had an organization now called Basketball 101, which is a nonprofit organization in which I am the owner of it. And what I do is train kids one-on-one in Rocky Mount, Raleigh, Durham, Charlotte, Greensboro, and Salisbury, being my second home.
Okay.
And we have basketball camps in the summertime and in the wintertime to sharpen the skills of kids' basketball skills and the knowledge, the general knowledge of just being an athlete, you know.
Okay.
And that's why I do it. And some kids can't afford to go to camps.
Mm-hmm.
So I do it little to nothing just to get kids in the gym. So I use it kind of as a ministry to keep the young people off the streets.
Okay. And so I do believe that is of definite support to their growth and their development. So tell me, how do the parents get their children enrolled in the camp?
Well, I have a Facebook page called Basketball 101, and my Facebook page, Maestro Manning. You can go up there and you can see the flyer and you can enroll. I'll send out a snippet of an enrollment form, and you know, you can just get enrolled that way. It's an Instagram page with my name on it as well. So if you type my name in anywhere, you'll see publicity of my camps all over the place.
Okay.
So all you got to do is go to Facebook and click on Maestro Manning or Basketball 101, and the camp flyer will come up.
Okay. So you talked about being able to get those children enrolled at little to no cost.
Yes.
For those who can't afford it. But what is the typical cost for your camp?
Usually I do a week camp with about 4 or 5 days, including free lunch, T-shirt, water bottle, and snacks of that nature. Usually I do for about $50 to $75.
Okay, and that's for this full summer?
Yeah, well, yes, because we do a week at a time.
Okay.
So I might do this week, then I might skip a week, then come back and do another week, because I know certain areas parents can't afford some of those high dollar camps, and I'm one of those children that I couldn't afford to go to camp because my grandmother raised me, did the best she could, and we just couldn't afford basketball camp. So I had to go to the park, I had to go to the gym, and kind of learn on my own,
Yeah. So, when is the best time for parents to sign their children up for the camp?
I would say before summertime. I would say get online, start looking up camps around about April or May, rather the EOGs and the EOCs, and to see what you can put your children in.
Okay.
And that's the best time. And just look on the website all year so they can go ahead and plan for their children to be there. So it's a very, very exciting time for a young person to be around someone that's expertise in the game of basketball, someone they can see, someone they can actually hear, listen to, and someone they know.
Definitely.
The young people see a lot of professionals playing on TV all the time, but they never get a one-on-one conversation or a one-on-one session with that particular professional about the sport of basketball.
Definitely. So if there was one action that you would like our listeners to take today, what would that be?
I would just say just pay more attention to the needs of the children, in the environment, not just your child, but your neighbor's child, the children at the church, because there's a lot of talent and potential in these small areas. And even in the area that we're in now, a lot of children walk in the gym with no knowledge of basketball camp. But I let them in, I welcome them in, I feed them, I clothe them, I give them opportunities for extra education and academic opportunities. Because you never know when or when not you may see them again. I've had several kids that I've met in Salisbury 1 week, then the next week I found out they passed away. So that's a very, very sad thing in my eyes because somebody, didn't reach that kid appropriately, you know what I mean? So my goal is to keep them off the streets and to reach the potential in them so they can get a basketball scholarship and keep them busy. I encourage the parents, keep your child busy, because being a busy bee, you'll stay out of trouble that way. And I'm one of those kids that my grandmother just kept me in the church. I got music lessons as a child that was mandatory for me to go to, and I was at the basketball court every day. So I was very busy as a child, and that business kept me out of trouble.
If you had to recognize anyone who's been an inspiration to what you do in the community, those who have helped you with your organization, your volunteers, who would that be?
Well, the number one person would ultimately be Jim Baker. He was my college basketball coach, phenomenal man. He's a Hall of Famer in 3 or 4 different sports Hall of Fames, and not only that, he's a father figure for me as well. One of the only men I ever had in my life, and he really, really developed character in me, you know what I mean? And he taught me to be a leader, and I know he's not perfect, but I tell you what, he's a role model to about every student athlete that played for him at that college. And he set the example before us, and I started working at Coach Baker's camps so I could learn what to do at my own camps. So he really got me started at what to do, when to do, what not to do, being professional with parents. All those things he taught me to do, dress nice, look nice, put on a shirt and tie, and I was the captain of my team in Todd when he was my coach. And he allowed me to lead my team, because he led me and he trusted me for that, so I really, really appreciate Coach Baker for his leadership and guiding me through being a professional, not just a professional athlete, but a professional altogether in the area of sports, because sometimes athletes struggle with professionalism. You have to be an example for the younger kids. And shout out to, Marvin Moore. He's also been a big mentor of mine. He's the principal of Salisbury High School. He was also my coach at Catawba when I was there. And, he's an educator and a man of God. And, he loves me to death. And I love him. And every time I need something, I can call him. And he's right there to pick up the phone. And our pastor in this area, Pastor Bates, Pastor Timothy Bates, he's been a mentor to me ever since I was a freshman in Salisbury. That's how Salisbury became my second home, because Pastor Bates took me to church. He took me to meet the other pastors in the area and other people that could really brighten my basketball knowledge. You know what I mean? So he took me in as a son. So I really do thank Pastor Bates and Steve Clark for allowing me to use the gym in the first place to bring the kids in. I know the Bible says that we are the church, but we still need a building to worship, and we still need a building to bring the kids in so that we can teach them how to do things together. So Steve Clark is the catalyst in that and allow me to use the gym for that type of activity. So I really appreciate all those guys for supporting my needs. And there are several more people who support, as far as the food. Bo Hawkins at, Chick-fil-A, the owner of East Coast Wings, the owner of Go Burrito in Salisbury. I can go on and on, but I really do want to thank those people because we need one. My motto at school as a teacher is no child left behind. I taught summer school before I left Rocky Mount last week, and I promised my parents that I will not fail your kids. So if they fail the test the first time, they will not fail it the second time. And I got a phone call from my principal yesterday. All my kids passed the EOG the second time.
That's awesome.
So, but I needed the help and support of administration and the parents. So without help and support, you don't really get what you need to get. So I thank those people for helping me with my program of basketball camp and my basketball one-on-one foundation.
Most definitely, it just goes to the old adage, it takes a village.
Yes.
And the same goes for our community. It takes the entire community to do their part, each individual coming together and, just making sure that we're there for one another. So thank you.
Yeah. And I also want to thank you for allowing me this opportunity because, Salisbury-Rowan Community in Action you guys do a lot for the community. That's what you guys do.
Yeah.
And allow me to be a part of that, even when I don't live here, I feel like I'm at home. Every time I've come here and knocked on the door, you guys let me in with open arms, very pleasant attitudes. How can I help you? What can I do? And this is a great place, a great resource for people in the community, and I encourage them to get out and be about action.
That's
So
right.
thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And just to add, here at our Community Action Agency, we have a workforce development program. And with that, we take a holistic approach to serving families. And so that means investing in the children's education, be it academic or physical. So, just as a part of assisting our families, we also make sure that those children are able to attend camps and attend tutoring and getting the mentorship they need. So, we encourage parents to come here if your child is in need, if you are in need of assistance, a hand up, we're here to help. So, again, I want to thank you for your service to the community. Thank you for all you do. I commend all your work. And that wraps up our session today. So we want to thank our audience today for taking a chance to tune in to talk about it. And that concludes our episode. Thank you.